everybody on another Friday. So we've got a Composite Solidor installation today. So we're going to be changing this patio door to a side entrance door. So they're going to have a main entrance door and then a fixed side frame. Should look really nice. I'll go and show you the door. So you can see side entrance down there. It's charcoal green on white. So all green on the outside, white on the inside. We'll do a bit of filming, installation and everything today. Jordan's just sorting the door out, I'll just give him a lift. Thank you.
No problem.
Trying, isn't it? Yeah, cut it so. Huh? You what?
The draw today.
Is it?
I'll put that up here. Can't remember. Is it not bleeding in that? Oh, it's not that bleeding.
Yeah. Sword. What's in that?
Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. It's an old one, isn't it? I can't really remember it. You can see everything there.
Sorry.
Huh? seasons, is it?
Hold on, Saturday 99.
Weird when you go watching, don't they?
That already technology that they've got. And
Yeah, there's no like all iPhones and stuff like that.
they're having all got ages. in that price. It's in there.
No. In fact, for the LL double game, isn't it?
Just in there and sneak around, you know, in that office.
Yeah.
Where's the chain? It's proper white, got water in it on the back. Like the Vice President Dick Cheney.
I've seen that TV programme with it being in it, so we'll do that. We're not good at it.
Got the NCIS.
And yeah, that's all. Kind of cheesy, don't they?
They're not the bad films. There's some bad films. I think they say that Alex is one of the funny shows. Any given Sunday we'll go for it.
So we've got the old frame out now. We're just getting ready to put the sill down. So that's the sill detail there. So we've gone for a large 55mm Radlington sill. So a typical window sill or door sill is usually only 30mm thick. Where this one we've gone for a 55, just to give us that lift. So you can see there, it's quite high, the internal floor, compared to the external brickwork. So we're going to put 55mm sill on, which will bring us flush to the internal floor finish, and then we've got a nice little aluminium threshold. So it's a good way of getting round that. Otherwise we'd have to put a 30mm sill on, pack that up underneath, a good 20-30mm with packers, and then fill that with silicone. Where at least now we've got a proper 55mm sill to sort that detail out. It's come out really easy, that. Jordan's just cut the sill to length now. Get that ready to go down. Right. I'll just show you that sill again. So you can see there that large 55mm sill has filled that void and pretty much brought us flush to the internal floor there. So I'm going to pack that up another 5mm, 10mm just to get us over at carpet, and then we've got a perfectly finished that floor threshold there. You can see underneath there's we're not having to pack it up a silly amount because we've used a 30mm sill. Just small little details like that make a big difference. So we've got the sill in now, we've got the door in. The door is just temporary in place. Got that packed up with a wind bag there, just holding it level and plumbed as well. So we've got this side frame in. So you can see customer's got a proper side entrance now, instead of that horrible patio there. So we always put when it's a door combination, so door combination meaning one single door on its own side frame, or you know, so we combine them together, we couple them together. So we've got I'm going to put a reinforcing bar up the centre of this. So I've got that sealed ready and cut to size. Just got some silicone all the way up there to seal that coupler. Just a chunky coupler section. This will obviously couple the frames together and reduce the amount of bounce on the door when the door closes shut. If the door were just supplied in one full section, including the side frame, it's really hard to couple that together. So you'll always have like a bit of a bounce, where with the aluminium coupler strengthens that. So we'll get that on now. We'll get this coupler slotted into the up against the door, and then we'll get the side frame coupled together to that. So obviously we'll seal this as well. So before we put the side frame in, we'll put a line of silicone along the back edge of the sill. Once we put the frame on there, that'll squash the silicone up and get up against that and seal that. It's really important that you do that. Obviously for driving wind and rain, we'll try and get its way underneath there. If you don't silicone that, obviously you'll have water then driving underneath there. It'll wet your internal floor and your carpet. And sometimes you can even have, you know, if it's really windy, you'll have a bit of a whistle blowing through there. So it's really important that you silicone that. See if I can put this coupler on. So you can see how I've notched the coupler. Notched the coupler around the internal plaster there. So we're now going to squash that up against that bead of silicone. So I'll try and do that with one hand while showing you. I've also notched it around this little bottom as well. This little lip on the threshold. Notched it round that. Give that a good squeeze. So you can see that's stuck onto there now. So what we'll do now is, like I said, we'll put the bead of silicone along the bottom of that bit of sill there. Put the side frame in. We'll silicone down the edge of this, and then they're both sealed, both sides. And then we'll clamp them two together and fix them together with some self-tapping bay pole screws. So the external finish is a flush flat finish, so it doesn't stick off at all there. Got a nice trim, which is that one there. So that'll go on the outside. That literally just clips into little male and female there, so that'll clip into that section. And then on the inside, you've got I think they call this a power bar. So you've got the flush finish on the outside, and then you've got the chunky, fatter finish on the inside. They used to both be flush, which was a nice finish, but it never really took the bounce out of the door. Whenever you give the door a good slam, there were always a bit of flex in the door. So they put this section on the inside now, just to firm that up, and it's just made a massive improvement. Stops any little bit the bounce on the door. So we'll crack on with that.
Do you see that? Just this lead film?
No. Any good? What are you wearing? Stuff like that?
No, it was shocking. But the guy who was making it had to leave halfway through making it because of some family incident or something, so someone else took over and finished it and it was terrible. So the guy who was originally going to make it has remade it again. It's going to be a lot better. But that's in the trailer and it still looks shocking. And they put a joke at Suicide Squad in it.
There's a clip of that again. That Joker. Now the interview and
Really, I didn't like it.
it's a bit depressing, isn't it?
Oh, that, no, that's not that.
You're not seeing Joker, you've seen Joker, have you?
No.
You've not seen it?
No, I meant the Suicide Squad. No, that's it. I watched that after the dodgy stream and I couldn't be bothered. Turned that off, wasn't it? The one from Suicide Squad, I thought was terrible at Joker.
Oh yeah, you don't like him now, right?
He's in the Justice League film. I thought it was Joker. See that film? Which he did.
I've not seen that one yet. No, it's on Netflix. It's right. It's on one minute.
I don't think it's on Prime. It's just like it's a massive silly because of this
So we use maple screws. Self-tapping screws. Is that?
It should start charging now and I go back and it's like flashing really red.
I've got a sheet, I'll take it back. I've not seen that. I just thought it might have been matches.
Take one off and swap it for another one. That's right.
Huh?
Big bit's the light.
Yeah.
Two seconds.
then, is it?
Yeah. Yes, I found 6.
Yes, please, hold on, thank you. You alright?
All rubbish is coming with us.
Yeah. different, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know why they put the other ones in, but there you go. Because originally, like across there, it was a door.
Yeah. Oh,
Some of the others, because I think in the like early 80s, they went around and went, oh, look at this fancy new product, it's called aluminum. We're looking across the road, they have chartwell rooms that with the white frame.
Yeah. Doesn't look as
I don't think it looks as finished.
doesn't look as quality, does it? When it's all the frame, it looks a bit more premium, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Just doesn't complement it.
No, I didn't pick it. Because when you're picking it, and then when you see it, like say, when you see it in flesh,
you see it, it's makes a big difference.
Yeah,
I think they've done it on a white frame.
yeah, that's what, just straight across.
Just doesn't look as like premium, expensive,
No.
right? No. So with these we'll be using frame fixing, direct frame fixing, so there's no need for any plugs, just go straight into brickwork.
God, the door's ready.
Huh?
The door's ready.
Well, they'll be out there.
Take that frame apart, see it till it's fully done.
So we've got the door, the side frame, they're all coupled together now. Got everything fixed in, got all the frame fixings in. So you can see our bay pole screws, 60mm bay pole screws. They literally just go through the bottom of the frame into the sill to hold that into place. The bay pole fixings all the way up. So every 400ish. I have to particularly measure them out too well, just they're on the inside of the fixed frame, so it's every 400, 500 is plenty. And then we've done the same on the other side as well, so that's nice and tightly proper gripped together now, that just to give that some strength. We've got our frame fixings in the side, packing it off, make sure we've not put any balls in that, so that's nice and plumb and true and straight all the way up there. We've got a 5 to 10mm gap either side, so we're going to put we're now going to fill that with foam either side. What the foam does is just create an extra thermal barrier and also gives it more strength. Really good stuff is the foam. Always use it. Anyone who says foam isn't good, don't trust them. So yeah, we'll fill, you can see the void there, see where we put the packers, you can see the frame fixings, so we'll fill that with foam now. So this is the foam we use. It's window and door, pseudo foam, window and door, professional quality expanding foam. It's not the crazy gap filling stuff. You can get some foam where it's literally just purely for filling holes in walls or whatever, and you have to put a bit of it and it'll just keep on expanding. It's a slightly lesser grade to that. It will expand, but if you're careful with it and you're good with it, it shouldn't expand everywhere. You have to put too much in, just enough to fill the gap and grip that frame. So yeah, we've levelled all the door up, plumbed it all up. We've got a nice, so we mentioned this before, where you've got that nice equal gap all the way up top and bottom. So that door shuts nice and true and plumb against that door. You also have some adjustment as well on the keeps, so we can adjust this keep, and that one does actually need just moving over ever so slightly. That'll just give you the tension on the door, so you've got that initial tension on that keep there. That's pretty much it really. We'll get this foam in now, get that glass, get that side frame glazed up, get some end caps on, give it a clean, and we'll probably trim down sides of these as well. We've brought some inch D section, so you can see where the old door, patio door was. See the old mastic line. What we'll do is we'll just put a little inch trim section up that, just to cover that up, and just finish off that nicely. You can see where the old window install is. Whoever's done this old window years ago, they've not bothered doing that, they've just gone for a line of silicone, and you can see where the old mastic like used to be. So we would never do that. We'd always try our best to finish that off as best we can, make it as neat as possible. You can try and spend time with your wire and bushing it all off, but you can never get it as good as what it should be. So just put a nice little trim over it, and finishes it off really nice. It creates like a little bit of a border around the door. Looking really good as that, much better than that patio door. So we've got a proper side entrance now. Security's massively been improved compared to that sliding door. I don't know if you can remember from the beginning of the video where we would take the first sash off the old patio door. You literally just lift them off and they come off. They weren't great ones then, there were no security brackets on them or anything. So yeah, security's massively been improved on this job. Got the old tin cylinder. Nice old tin cylinder on it as well. So you can see where they're coupled together now there. So what we'll do, we'll get this trim, show you that trim. Obviously needs cutting to size, and that trim will then just click into there like that. Finishes that detail off really nice.
boxes in.
It's clear now. It come out, stop. It doesn't dry. The boots. Super glue, mate. another quick tip for you when you glazing a door combination. So you put the glass in and make sure you pack all the way down the sides. So we've got a packer there, packer there on both sides. So a glass packer up on both sides. You want to get that nice and tight either side, and then what that will do, will keep that centre mullion nice and plumb and level all the way down. If you don't put the packers in and you leave a 4mm, 5mm void down there, what that will do over the next couple of weeks, we'll want to bore out in that way, and then it'll make the door tricky to close then. So you've got a nice gap all the way down there, and obviously if you don't pack that, that'll just bore over this way and create a bigger gap here, and you'll end up with issues when it comes to closing that door. So don't forget to put the packers in. So I'm just going to quickly show you how we finish off the inside of a door. So doors, especially with the vibrations of obviously opening and shutting the door, you can decorate as cork this finish where the frame meets up to the plastic, especially because there's no wallpaper on here, it's just a painted finish. So it would look really nice with a decorator's cork, but you will always get a little bit of flex with, obviously on doors with slamming and shutting them. So what we generally try and do on doors is this trim detail on here. So you can see that there. That just covers that gap up, and then we can seal either side of that as well. So I'll put one on the top there just to show you, and then that's where the old plaster was. So we'll now just put rather than decorators cork it and it crack after a few weeks or a few months time, put a nice trim over that, and then that will it's always going to look good then. Same on top there, so you can see that. So yeah, it's preference, but just from experience, whenever if we've ever gone back to a job, and you have a look at this finish when it's been decorated coat, it'll always just start splitting a little bit. So we always just put trims on doors. I've got them trims on now. So you can see they look really nice. Just finishes it off. I know some people don't like the trim, so obviously if the customers prefer us to decorators coat them, we'll always do that. But I think that just finishes it off really nice on the inside, and also it's always going to look that good. In 2, 3, 4, 6 months, 12 months, that's going to there's going to be no cracks. We'll silicone this side, decorators coat this side, so the customer can just paint straight up to that if they ever change the decor, and then there's going to be no cracking on that. Opening and shutting the door. So we'll get this cleaned up on the inside now, get our carpet tape up, give door a good clean, get it siliconed up, probably just adjust the latch ever so slightly. Other than that, the door is spot on. I've got a nice equal sight line along the top, all the way down the side. Nice equal sight line along the bottom there. And like I said, I mentioned about the packing of the side frame. So you can see where we've packed up the right hand side, we packed up the left hand side. So that glass unit on that right hand side is in nice and tight. And what that's also done is made sure that keeps that centre bar level and plumb and true. Somebody at the door.
Is it a D or 2 on that side?
See what's 2 is probably going to look better on that, innit? Cover that up. Yeah, put a 2 on. Jordan's just finishing off outside now, so he's going to put some trims on edges, and I'll get this all cleaned up on the inside. We're all done inside now. I'm going to jump outside and give Jordan a lift. is just finishing up cleaning. So you can see how nice that looks. Now we've got all the trim on. We've siliconed, and we've also decorated corked it as well. It's a bit dark in here, I hope you can see that. So the back edge, the frame to the trim is silicone, and then the front edge, the trim to the plaster is decorated cork. So we can just paint straight up to that. The paint won't stick to silicone, so we just use decorated cork on that edge, and then the customer can just paint right up to that if and when they want to do that. Yeah, looking really good. Probably, I'm just going to tweak that ever so slightly. I think it's probably a mil lower on this right hand side. So I'll just get that done now, and then that's perfect. Then, if anything, you want it probably a mil higher on this side, just to give it that little bit of movement. You know, if it does ever settle ever so slightly, it'll then be a perfectly equal gap along that top. But yeah, it's not far off. It's about, I'd say about a mil out that. So I'll just get that a tiny little bit higher on that side, and then that'll be perfect. We do actually have a bit of room if you also look. So we do need to go up a mil here, and then if you look at the gap all the way down there, it just gets ever so slightly bigger at the bottom there. So what we'll do with this hinge, we'll just push that over a mil to the right. That'll close that gap up by a millimetre, and that'll also in turn lift the door up as well, and close that gap up by a mil. So I'll do that now, get that perfect. So pop this hinge off, move that over a mil, that'll close that gap up, that'll lift the door up a little bit and close this gap up a little bit. We're talking, like I say, a millimetre out, but if anything, I do like these just to be just a touch higher, if anything, rather than flush, just to give it that little bit of flexibility. If it does drop ever so slightly, it'll be bang on then. But you shouldn't usually get that much movement, but it's always better to just give it that option. So I'll do that now, and then I'll show you again. Sorted. So we've adjusted that bottom hinge. So we've moved it over to the right a millimetre or so. So that's now give us a perfect, if I can zoom in on that a little bit, perfect sight line along the top. Nice perfect line all the way down that right hand side. And it's bang on the bottom. The carpet just raises up there, it's not the actual slab. You can see the gap to the aluminium threshold's perfect. The carpet just raises there a bit as well. As you can see, let's push that down. So it's bang on level. Perfect that. Jordan's got that prepped and cleaned for us. He's give it all a good wipe down with my glass cleaner and frame cleaner. We've put the trims down the sides to cover the mastic up. Don't need a trim on top. Need to clean that soffit. But yeah, I'll get it siliconed up now. Looking good. bring us a 2-inch, Jordan. I'll put one on top. I weren't going to bother, but it doesn't look right. Nicer with a 2-inch on, won't it? It's a bit strange. Coming on at 15.85. I'll go for a trim on top, it'll frame it, border it nicer.
Got another drink?
Yes please, number one, thank you.
Another?
Yes. things left in it.
I'm actually Real Madrid. I don't see Liverpool City but it's still in England. Real Madrid are in it. Bayern Munich are in it. PSG. Could be a Man United Arsenal final if it they won their games.
Have a good one, it. Had a good bit of rivalry with the Arsenal for a while now.
Best game, yeah, 2000s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Biggest one, league.
Pass that paper. We're all done here now. Door looks really well. Been a nice job to do actually. So I decided to put another 2-inch trim along the top, as well as down the sides, and then it just like picture frames it, if you will, just borders it off. Looks nice. Looks a bit odd with a 2-inch up that side, 2-inch trim up that side, and then nothing on top. So I put one along top as well. So you can see we've managed to cover up all that horrible mastic that were left on the brickwork from the last installers. Looks really well. It's got a perfectly low threshold there, just enough room to get a thin mat on. Door shuts perfectly. Got all the sight lines all nice and plumb and true, and spot on. I've adjusted the latch, so this is the latch here, so we can go into the house with the latch, which would make the door really easy to shut, but there'll be no tension on it. What you want is for the latch to close into this part and create some sort of seal against this, call this the Q-on, against that. So you'll see at the moment it clicks shut to that, and then it compresses that Q-on down that side there, so you've got a nice compressed seal there. So with Solidor, what we recommend on how to close them. I know it might be basic on how to close the door, but a lot of people tend to find that they try and close the door with the handle down, that misses then the latch, and just makes it a little bit harder. So we just leave the handle be, nice firm shut, you know, keep it in place. That then the latch then catches on that centre. We'll also always recommend throwing that handle up. So once you've shut the door, so leave the handle, click that shut on the latch, and then throw the handle up. What that does then, there's a hook at the top and there's a hook at the bottom, and you've also got the deadbolt in the middle. So when you throw the handle up, it throws the hooks up top and bottom, and it'll just keep that door plumb and true and straight, especially on a hot sunny day. If you just kept closing the door on that latch, there's nothing holding that door in at the top and the bottom. The door will naturally want to move, so it's always recommended when you shut the door, just throw the handle up. You don't have to lock it, just literally throw the handle up. That'll throw the handle in at the bottom, the hook at the bottom and the hook at the top, and that'll keep that door plumb, true and level. So we always advise the customers to do that before we leave. What we'll also do is we leave them a little maintenance pack. So two main things really with composite doors is just keeping it clean and keeping the lock lubricated. So this one would just be cleaned with soapy water, with no solvents, no chemicals or anything, especially because it's a colour. So just use a bit of fair liquid or something, just give it a wipe down every now and again. Main things to look after obviously is your chrome work, which is your chrome handle. So give that a clean every couple of weeks with soapy water, and then dry it off with a tea towel, and that should last a long time for you. Maintenance of the locks. Sorry, I was doing a video. So maintaining locks, what we do is just throw the hooks out so that you can see the hooks there. Maybe every 3 to 6 months. 6 months would be probably perfect. Get a bit of grease on there, or 3-in-1 spray. You can get just a general 3-in-1 spray from any hardware store or B&Q, but at the moment they feel nice and greasy, so they'll be fine for probably 3 to 6 months. A good indication really is once they start feeling dry, just get a bit of grease on there, or 3-in-1. We generally tell our customers to just buy a tin of, it's called 3-in-1, it's literally got 3-in-1 written on the tin, and that does the job perfectly fine. It's not recommended to use WD-40. WD-40, the general blue tin stuff that everybody's used to, is more of a cleaner really than a long-term lubricant. But everyone seems to know the blue WD-40, thinks you know, they all go around spraying hinges and everything. It's not really a good idea, because like I say, it's more of a cleaner, so it'll give you an initial clean and an initial lubricant, but eventually it will just dry. It'll dry anything out, will your general blue tin WD-40. So if you were spraying WD-40 on all the hooks, you think, oh yeah, that's worked, it's cleaned it up, but it'll just dry them out eventually, and then you'll lose any warranties or guarantees on that. Where the 3-in-1 spray we recommend is more of a lubricant, and will keep that lock lubricated. It won't dry out. Another good indication of when your locks are ready for a bit of lube is where I mentioned where you can just shut the door on the latch without pulling the handle down. that's just gliding over that latch at the moment. When they start getting a little bit dry, it'll start banging on the latch. Spray a bit of 3-in-1 on there and you're good to go again for another 6-12 months, maybe even longer, but it's just recommended just to do it every 6-12 months, so then you know it's going to be spot on. So yeah, other than that, pretty much maintenance free. There's never no need of painting, anything really. It's just keep them clean. Spend a lot of money on composite doors and windows, and last thing you want to do is just leave them just to get all full of dirt and get all the locks all dried out and everything. Spent all that hard-earned money, just keep them clean. Yeah, this one's been a nice job. This. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Try my best to go through a lot of the details with you and show you everything. Yeah, I'll go and see what Jonah's up to.